Mr. Mighty Marvel Show. I'm Paul and we're getting sinister today. All sinister. It's the ultimate lineup of Marvel Legends Sinister Six. And here they are. There is my collection. A little bit of a look at that. It's a pretty reasonable display of Spidey's Rogues Gallery. Some good super villains and a number of key members of the Sinister Six. There's a few I'm missing, but overall, Hobgoblin, Sandman, Speed Demon, Scorpion, Vulture, Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin, Mysterio, Boomerang, Electro, the Rhino and the Shocker. There's not a bad bunch there. So I'm quite pleased with my lineup of Sinister Six Spidey Rogues villains. Obviously, because I'm a nerd, I've set myself some rules. I give myself 2 rules. The first rule is the characters I pick must have been in the Sinister Six at some point in the comic, goes without saying. And the second rule is I must own the figure. Obviously, otherwise I can't put them in my lineup. So those are my rules. So that discounts for me straight away. It takes out the Lizard, Craven and Venom as notable absentees. Venom because I've got Marvel Select or a Mafex, but not a Marvel Legend, so that's why I've taken it out. And Craven, I desperately, I want a figure. He's on my wish list. You can watch the video on the channel. I would love a Craven figure, but I don't have a Craven figure. And I have an old Toy Biz Lizard, but it's a bit ropey, it's quite old now, so I'm discounting that because I don't have a current Lizard. So my collection is what you've already seen. That's what I'm looking for. So let's go straight in with those rules in place. Number 1 on my list, let's pick a leader. And there's only really 2 candidates that I bring it down to as leader. The first of those is Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, and Dr. Octopus, Dr. Otto Gunther Octavius. In case you didn't know his middle name was Gunther, fact fans. So Otto Octavius, Dr. Octopus, or Green Goblin, Norman Osborn. Now, I am discounting Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin. There's a couple of reasons. The first one is I don't really think, when I think of the Sinister Six, I don't really think of Norman Osborn as part of the Sinister Six. He was too big, too powerful character in terms of Norman Osborn, the big corporate guru. And equally, I see him very much as an individual Spider-Man villain. I don't think he works well with teams. So I'm discounting him for that reason. Equally, I hate that figure. I love the look of it, but I hate it. It doesn't pose well. Doesn't move well, it doesn't sit on the glider well. So I love the Green Goblin as a character, but I hate that figure, so that can get in the bin. And for the equal next reason, I am discounting the Hobgoblin because I hate that figure as well. Don't like it, doesn't look good. I desperately wanted the original Hobgoblin from 2015, which is an awesome figure. Got the retro version here from the animated series, which I don't like the figure. It's not great. Talking about it on my channel, spoiler alert now, don't need to watch that video. So I'm discounting that, but equally, for genuine reasons, I do also see the Hobgoblin sat separately, because in my time of reading the comics, he worked individually. He was part of the Roses mafioso team in terms of taking on the Kingpin, and I don't see him sitting in that team player area. Plus, he's had about 98 different identities, so I wouldn't know which one to put in anyway. So, Hobgoblin, Green Goblin, if your name's Goblin, get in the bin. So they're out. So really that brings me down to my leader, and I'm going for Otto Octavius. He is synonymous with the Sinister Six. He's generally the architect behind all their schemes. He's genius level into the intellect, and he generally has surrounded himself with more sort of street level characters out of Spidey's Rogue Gallery rather than the big sort of powerful players, because he wants to be the biggest brain and the smartest person in the room. So Otto Octavius, he's my leader. That was quite easy. There's number 1 on the list. Now, the other things I looked at when I was putting this team together is the color palette. What does it look like? So on the comic book page, or on a screen, or how does it look with those characters? And try and mix up the characters. And the one thing you will notice, take another look, is there's quite a lot of green up on those characters. So that's going to have to be a predominant theme. So I was looking at cool characters, favourite characters, and what works well as a group of characters put together. So my next choice is going to be someone that's at the complete other end of the costume spectrum from the Dr. Octopus. And I'm looking at my good friend, or not good friend because he's a bad guy, the Shocker. Love the character. There's a Shocker. Love the character. He's one of those again. He's not high level powered. He's one of those ones that Spidey would come up against all the time. He's street level criminal. We've got lucky with the powers. The suit looks really cool. The new figure is great. I've got the original figure back here. It's a really cool look to it. Love the mask. Love the way it works. It works well as part of the Sinister Six. He's the type of person that would be part of the Sinister Six because he would get in with a bigger, more powerful group of players so he could get the big payoff. He could do the big score, the big bank job. He's not interested in world domination, so he's quite happy to let Dr. Octopus go about those schemes. So the Shocker makes number 2. So I have Doc Ock and I have the Shocker, and that so far is going quite well. Who is number 3? Number 3 on my list, I need a flyer. We need some aerial assault. We need someone to be attacking Spider-Man from the sky while he's been in the ground forces bringing in. So number 3 for me is, now it's out of a couple here. Clearly, it's out of the Beetle and it's out of the Vulture. Now, I love the Beetle. Love that costume. The colour scheme is great. I think the face mask is fantastic. It's such a cool character. I really love it. Love the way it's come up against Spider-Man. I kind of see him sometimes as a bit of an Iron Man enemy because of the tech. So that's sort of where I would go with that. But he's obviously a classic Spider-Man villain. But I'm keeping him out of it here because from Sinister Six type view, I associate him more with the Sinister Syndicate, which is an offshoot of the Sinister Six, created by the Beetle, and he had a couple of other players in it as well. He had Hydra Man, he had Speed Demon, he had Boomerang, and he had Rhino. But I'm keeping him out of this Sinister Six because I kind of, in my mind, associate him more with the Sinister Syndicate. So that leaves me, Adrian Toomes himself, the Vulture. So the Vulture becomes my flyer for the aerial assault. So that is very cool, person. We are now 3 into it. We've got Doc Ock as a leader. We have got the Shocker. And we've now got the Vulture as our aerial assault specialist. That's 3. And the Vulture is like a creepy look to him. He always kind of freaks me out in the comic book. The Michael Keaton version in the movie was very different, done fantastically well, really good, look great, but coming at a different angle. The Vulture does look like a Vulture, really sort of creepy, evil look to him, sinister look to him. So that fits the Sinister Six. See what I've done there? So the Vulture makes my number 3. 3 down, 3 to go. 4th character as we work through the list. Now, I need a bit of muscle now. So that brings me down to a couple of characters. I've sort of narrowed it down. You've got obviously the Rhino as pure bruising power. I love the character Rhino. Simple costume. Just love that classic comic book Rhino suit look. Not that dopey thing you got in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie, the metal suit, which is a nonsense. So I love the look of the Rhino. I do have the older Rhino. So stick with my rules. I do want to talk about the Rhino as brute force. I do love the figure I've got, but it is a lot older, and so I'm going to kind of move it to the side. So then in terms of muscle, I'm coming down to Mac Gargan, the Scorpion. Now, I love that suit. I think it's a classic look. It's been done by some brilliant artists over the years, interpretation for what is a very simple green. It's been done with a mixed green effect on it, like a striped hooped top. Love the look. The Marvel Legend figure is awesome. I think it looks fantastic. The real shine to the suit, evil face on it. So I do love the Scorpion as a character. So I'm throwing the Scorpion in as my number 4. So we are building Doc Ock. We are building the Shocker. We have got the Vulture. And now we've got the power of the Scorpion. Or, obviously, the sting of the Scorpion, which would have been much cooler. I said it first time round. And that would have looked great. There we go. 4 down. 2 left. Now, we need someone that can provide the cover for this team. We need someone that can work the scams, that can be the key man, the man in the van behind. So who else is the man in the van? The master of illusion, the mystical genius. That is Quentin Beck. Mysterio. I love Mysterio. He's one of my absolute favourite characters. He's one of my absolute favourite costumes of all supervillains out there. Right back in the day, when Ditko created this character, right the way up to the modern versions, to what we saw in the movie. Love the suit. Good old fishbowl head himself. It works great. The vibrant purple cape, the eyes on the epaulets on the top of his cape there, the flowing cloak, the gold gauntlets. Awesome, awesome character. He'd bring the tech. Again, he's worked at that street level. He was a Hollywood stuntman that got into crime. So he's worked at that level. He's working the scam. He wants to pay out. So he fits that whole Sinister Six background quite well. So he fits into my team. So Quentin Beck Mysterio fits into my team. So I now have Dr. Octopus. I've got the Shocker. We've got the Scorpion. We've got the Vulture. And we've got Mysterio. 5 down, 1 to go. Who's left? Who did I look at? Well, I looked at Speed Demon, Boomerang. Great characters. Love the look. They fit a totally different costume dynamic with my colour palette splash thing that I was talking about there from an art perspective. But I tend to associate them more with Sinister Syndicates rather than Sinister Six. So I'm pushing them to one side. That leaves us, again, looking at our list across here. The Sandman. I love the Sandman. What a great character. Love playing around with this character. Really good. The Marvel Legend figure is excellent. But in my mind, Sandman's done a bit of a career turn in previous years. He's become a bit of a anti-hero, like mercenary, part ally of Spider-Man's on some occasions. So I'm moving Flint Marko, William Baker, out of that villain category, moving him away from the Sinister Six. And I do like it when Spider-Man takes on the Sandman on his own merits. I quite like that. So I moved the Sandman out of that. So then I'm looking at power, other pure power. And by power, I mean literal power. So I am down to, what an amazing costume, Electro, the Max Dillon, the powerhouse of electricity. What a fantastic costume. We got a bit of a retro look at this with Jamie Foxx in the movie. The yellow lightning bolt mask, which looks incredible. The yellow flash of lightning across the sleeve, across the tunic. The yellow gloves, the mystical glow of electric. I just love this character. And again, for the power he's got, he's street level villain. He's always trying to pull a bank job or steal a jewel. Somehow that Spidey's rogues gallery where he's come up against him any number of times. So I love Max Dillon. So I'm putting in Electro. So I think I built my team. Let's just recap. We have got Dr. Octopus as the leader. We have got the stunning power of the Shocker. We have got the sting of the Scorpion. We have got the aerial attack of the Vulture. And we have got the mystical madness of Mysterio. And we have got the electrical energy of Electro. That is a lot of acronyms, my friends. So there we go. So that's my team. That's my Sinister Six. I'm very happy with that Sinister Six. But what's your Sinister Six? That's what I'd also like to know as well. Who'd you put in? What characters have you got? Why would you build them in your team? What's your reasons? Who are you leaving out? Stick it in the comments. And while you're there, like, subscribe, do everything as well with it. That is it. I'm off to do something evilly sinister with my Sinister Six. Maniacal cackle.